I can't stress enough, YouTube is risky to start completely from scratch. We set 3 goals and we said if we didn't reach them by the end of the year, we need to reevaluate.
Hey, I'm Chase, and this is Media Offline, a series where I chat to some of the creators who inspire me to improve my craft and make better films. YouTube is a beast, and Sabrina from Answer in Progress is one of those rare people that has been able to tame it, turning her quest for knowledge into a fledgling media empire. They've created shows for Google, History Channel, and a bunch of other dream clients, all while building an audience that's pushing 1 million. So, what's their secret?
Answer in Progress started from 2 main ideas. One is the 3 of us, Taha, Melissa, and I. We were students, we were about to graduate, we were really burnt out, but we had grown up being curious people who really enjoyed learning. And so we are chasing that feeling again. And we were also video producers, we liked doing this kind of stuff. So we were like, what if we just try and chase that kind of curiosity and just record the process? The way that we told people, it was just imagine if Casey Neistat and Vox Explainers mixed together, but it was all kind of worse.
Great, I love that. How did you get started on YouTube?
Yeah, so I was 13, and for the most part, they were just rip-offs of other creators. And I just kept at it. It wasn't for the algorithm. It wasn't motivated by the idea of turning this into a profession. It's just what I saw people do, so I emulated that.
From those early days, was the interest and passion in creating videos and getting better at that, or was there a common theme that has sort of drawn you through?
What I do in a lot of videos is share these things that I learned because I just found it interesting. But my actual technical passion was in animation and illustration. That is what I wanted to be growing up. But then I didn't end up doing that because my parents were like, hey, maybe you should get a degree in something else.
So Sabrina studied math and seemed to be on track for a career in consulting, but that love for YouTube never quite went away.
I'm in my last year of university with a little bit of free time. I was just you know what, let's take one last hurrah at YouTube. I want to produce a mini series of things that would eventually become Answer in Progress. Dragged my friends into it. It was all just going to be our little side project. As a byproduct of this, we saw the Super Patron grant launched by Jack Conte of Patreon, and it was this $50,000 to create something. And it sounded too good to be true. And we applied. Melissa and I are working together one day on one of her videos, and I get a Slack message. It's from Taha, and he's like, pick up your phone.
Your application was so good.
Thank you so much.
I kind of lied. I told you were one of the finalists, but you're not. You won.
What?
It felt very surreal that it was this incredible grant offer that I recognized immediately that it would change things. But now we have $50,000 US. We had all of these plans, but we were let's just knock out, let's get through exam season and let's talk about videos. Then in March of 2020,
A thing we can't talk about happened.
a little something happened. Another thing that went a little bit differently is the job that I had accepted. And I'm getting more and more into this idea of Answer in Progress videos. I'm these are really fun to make. I said no to the job. And so I settled into this reality of this Answer in Progress is gonna be a thing. Let's just stick to it and see what happens.
So when you switched over to this format of a group of creators rather than just being yours, you say it clicked, views started to go up, subscribers started to grow. What do you attribute that success to?
2 things. At the start of 2021, or around the end of 2020, when we were everything's gone wrong, nobody likes our videos, we were why? And I think what happened was that we were trying so hard to emulate these serious creators that we lost what made us individuals, what made the 3 of us special. And it's the fact that we're just 3 people having fun. So we made this conscious decision of just whenever we are at a crossroads, we choose whimsy. We choose everything we can to make the video whimsical and fun and light and exploratory and curious. The other thing is we realize that titles and thumbnails are kind of king on YouTube. If you want to attract a new audience, you need to get new people to click on your video. So the way we did that, there was a couple of things. My favorite one was we just started making our thumbnails look suspiciously similar to other creators.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's the classic concept that exists in journalism and what has personally, I believe, ruined headlines nowadays, but it's this curiosity gap, right? There is this title, I want to click the title, and just adding a bit of a tease in the thumbnail design. My favorite one that I've pulled off was the video I made about the trolley problem, because I wrote, the title was just like, I taught an AI to solve the trolley problem, which is not a solvable problem.
Yeah.
It's a philosophical debate, right? And then in the thumbnail, it's just the iconic trolley problem image. So you're reinforcing this concept. And also I just wrote in the little text, just like, it doesn't like humans. And I think that just summons up enough intrigue in the audience that they're like, all right, you got me, let's click.
What percentage of being an online creator now is playing these algorithms and getting your work seen versus just this passion for creating amazing work and people will come?
It needs to be both. You need to begin to separate the idea of your content and the way that it's sold, the way that it's packaged. And it is so much to ask of a creator, which is why sometimes it's really good to like work with other people and like collaborate with people. Having that community there is so helpful, not only because you get to learn from one another, but because you get to stay excited about the thing that you actually love doing, which is the creation.
If you are a creator online, you do need to create a lot. But how do you balance that between like your life and enjoying what you're creating and the commercial necessity of making things?
We have like the really good fortune at Answer in Progress of having an audience size that allows us to slow down a bit. Very early on for channels, the goal is to get YouTube to recognize who to share your content with, right? So it needs a lot of data points, and sometimes that is just like, I need to produce numbers. The second thing is that I don't think that the way to grow a channel after a certain threshold is really about numbers. It's more so about like producing videos that people will connect with. It's translated into like people engaging with your videos, people sharing your videos, and that is what the YouTube algorithm recognizes as like, oh, people like this stuff.
So in a way, you've kind of built an audience that fulfills what you wanted to make, rather than searching for this mythical audience out there that somehow you're just going to connect to and solve or serve.
Exactly.
For people who are sort of coming out of college now, how do you make that choice between turning your passion into your job?
Luckily, we weren't starting completely from scratch because we'd been making videos for so many years prior to Answer in Progress being made. But the biggest thing, I think, was we had a cutoff date. We always had an exit strategy. We set 3 goals, and we said if we didn't reach them by the end of the year, we need to reevaluate. And I think that having those goals made it seem a little less scary, because it's just like, I'm accepting this risk for a year, and I know that I can get through a year without losing things that actually matter, like housing, food, all of that stuff.
Math degree to all of these things. How do you actually learn that? How do you develop those skill sets?
I think you should trust your taste. Your taste is always going to be greater than your capabilities, but you can use that to your advantage. You can recognize like, hey, why do I like this design? How can I recreate that? There's this whole concept of like good artists steal. I think that it's been oversimplified, but it's a great way to learn, to just try and copy what other people have done, see how you can do it, merge so many of these different examples until you find something that you like, and you find yourself with like a new skill set. I really loved Vox videos, and I was like, I want to make a Vox animated explainer. So I just kept copying for a year of just like, okay, I have this idea. How would they do it? And I tried to keep putting myself in this mindset of just like, what are the things that I like? Is it like posterized time? Is it like a little bit of grunge loops? Like, it has its pros and cons. The cons is that it is an incredibly inefficient way to learn, but it's also incredibly good at keeping you excited about learning.
I guess it's sort of like exercise or learning anything, where it's better to do something not the most efficient and perfect way if you're going to actually do it and you're going to find it enjoyable and stick with it.
Exactly. You're so much better at saying things.
In terms of animation, obviously that's something you were super passionate about. Have you been able to carry that as AIP is scaled up, or is that something you've had to sort of, I don't know, hand over the reins to other people?
For the first too long of a stretch in AIP, I was animating all of our videos on like 3-day turnaround timelines. It made me hate animation.
I can
was
imagine.
so eager to just throw it to anyone who would take it. And luckily we found like really talented freelancers to work with who have been able to like really translate our vision and like make it really exciting. And it like I still got to be in the weeds a little bit, but I also got more distance from the project so that when I saw that final cut, I was just like, this is sick.
Yeah. Has that sort of changed the nature or diminished your love for creating videos, or has it enabled you to just move into this new phase of direction?
I do miss like sitting down and just editing and animating. And I think the bright side of like running the business, owning the business, is that in the future, I can just be like, hey, I think I'm just gonna take this one. It's a balancing act of like, I really love this stuff, but also I need to do something else in order for this whole machine of a business to function.
What inspires me most is how Sabrina and Answer in Progress mix the exploration and the industry, creating videos that not only reach a large engaged audience, but retain the fun and core joy of learning. I keep coming back to one fundamental piece of wisdom from Sabrina, and that your creative idea matters, but how you package and sell that idea is absolutely essential to reaching an audience online that will care. And I think that that's something that we can all put into practice.